Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Third Eye with Lorelei. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for coming back for another episode in which I talk about things, all things spiritual, and sometimes throw in a little bit of science because I can't help myself. I loves it. So today I'm going to be talking about vibration. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I got motivated by one of my good friends, Jasmine, who's a psychic medium. And she did this TikTok video and how empaths and people who are not as empathic can grow in their empathy through internal work, which is 100% accurate. But I stitched it and talked about vibration because I felt like vibration needed to be a part of that conversation. And I'm going to continue that conversation here because I found it to be something that really stimulated my mind and I wanted to talk a little bit more about it. So here I am talking about it with you all today. So per usual, I'm going to talk about a crystal and then a quote, right? So let's talk about the crystal of the week, which is Campo del Cielo. I hope that I said that correctly. Campo del Cielo. Anyway, this is actually a meteorite, and it's one that I've seen a few times in a few different crystal shops, and it's always very expensive, probably because there's not a whole lot of it, I think, and it's just, there's only one place on Earth that you can find it, right? Because it is where a meteorite has impacted Earth, or meteor. I don't get it right. Anyway, so the name is given to a family of meteorite fragments found in a 2x12 mile area crater in northern Argentina. So the meteor was estimated to have impacted Earth around 4,700 to 4,200 years ago. The first recorded mention we have of this mineral dates back to 1576, when the governor of a northern Argentina province used the military to search for a large piece of metal. He was only aware of this material because of the knowledge from the Aboriginal people of Argentina, who used the space rock for weapons and crafting material. They found what had assumed to be the natural metal and sent it back to mainland Europe for further analysis. There was very little recorded activity mentioning anything else about this meteorite until 1774, so 200 years later. However, little did this governor know that he had actually found an 18-ton single piece of meteorite that was later referred to as Maison de Fierro, meaning the table of iron. Oof! That gave me the shivers a little bit. So this name was coined by Don Bartolome Francisco de Maguna, who rediscovered this mineral in 1774. So a further expedition in 1783 by Ruben de Celi led to the use of explosives to try and extract this humongous chunk from the earth. He was unsuccessful in the first trial and later deemed this material being made from ancient volcanic activity, which could have possibly been the source of an exposed iron mine. This exact piece was left in the earth, but was somehow extracted between then and the middle to late 1800s. That was a mystery for over 100 years when in 1992, someone was arrested for trying to smuggle out a 37-ton piece of meteorite. Oh my, can you imagine? Can you imagine trying to smuggle out a 37-ton rock? I mean, no, it's not a rock, it's a meteorite, but still 37-ton piece of meteorite. That's, wow. That's heavy. So I imagine what kind of equipment this person had. I have no idea. At the point of this writing from July 2020, this mineral had not officially been determined as the famed Maison de Fierro, but many researchers and geologists believe it to be so. The name of this mineral comes from the Aboriginal people who initially discovered it and alerted the Spanish of its existence. Natives believed it had fallen from a specific position in the sky, known to them as the Pegium Nanralta. In Spanish, this translates to Campo del Cielo, which means field of heaven. So let's talk about the meaning and energy now that we have that fascinating history under our belts. So like all meteorites, Campo del Cielo assists one in the full physical transformation of your own existence while elevating your consciousness to new, unimaginable heights. Not just like new heights, unimaginable heights. That's, oof, I think I need to get me some Campo del Cielo. Maybe not 37 tons of it, but maybe just a piece, maybe. I wonder what it would be like with my moldavite, which I'm wearing today. If you guys look at, there's my moldavite and my Herkimer diamond. Can you imagine putting a little bit of Campo del Cielo next to that? Be vibing out of this universe, yo. So meteors provide an energy that pushes one to completely break down their idea of themselves and who they are, so they can begin to rebuild the true image of themselves. Sorry, I'm kind of stumbling over my words today. Campo del Cielo meteorite fragments soar above all other space rocks when it comes to reimagination of who you really are. You are the creator of your own universe and can choose to do whatever it is in this world, thus providing endless joy and happiness. Campo del Cielo meteorites are a daily reminder of that philosophy and will help clear the air of any and all negativity that may be surrounding you and affecting your daily decision making. By providing this impenetrable etheric shield, one will not only have inner peace, but also be able to listen to your instinctual desires. This is far different from what occurs in the world we live in, where societal trends dominate and one needs to continue to keep up with what's in to even feel comfortable anymore. One's time is very limited here, and it should only be spent with the ones that you love while doing the things that bring you the most joy. Campo del Cielo meteorite fragments put this view into the forefront of your mind, thus helping one acknowledge the importance of individuality and self-expression. These freedoms will play a great role in the ever-expanding growth cycle here on Earth. Okay, so that's Campo del Cielo. I think I might have to get a couple of pieces of that if I can afford it. Okay, so moving on into the quote of the week. This one doesn't have an author. I've been picking a lot of unknown authors lately. The last one I picked had an author, but this one doesn't. So fill yourself up with so much love, light, joy, and gratitude that you cannot help raise the vibration of everyone, or you cannot help raise the vibration of everyone you encounter. So I kind of love that. Even though I thought it said that you can help, but it says you cannot help raise the vibration of everyone you encounter. So in a sense, it's sort of like taking away that responsibility that a lot of people hold to help others become who others are supposed to be, but holds that responsibility closer to the self, closer to who you are. Fill yourself up with love, joy, and light and gratitude. That way, you don't have to feel responsible for the love, joy, and gratitude of others. And at some point, it'll hopefully, I think in that sense, will inspire others to find that within themselves. Okay, so now we're just moving right on to my topic, vibration. Now, if you've been in the spiritual community for at any little bit of time, you've probably heard the phrase vibing or vibing high or good vibes. There's lots of songs about that and whatnot. And so some of you might ask, like, why do we say that? What does that even mean? And if you think about that in general, you can find how this makes sense even from base science. And before I go further, I recently had my very first internet troll. And because I had stitched, like I was saying in the beginning, I stitched that video with my friend Jasmine, and I talked about vibration, and I talked about the law of thermodynamics. I talked about the spectrum of light and how different particles are always vibrating. Any living being has a vibration due to those facts in general and whatnot. But the very first thing that I brought up, because I think this is absolutely fascinating, is string theory. And this is I had to write some notes down because there is so much in string theory. It is something that is in the mathematical and science community. Usually it's quantum physics, theoretical quantum physics, and mathematics. It's all about, let me see if I can get this right. It is the fundamental string vibrating to give particles mass, or which makes up everything. It's a theoretical model that attempts to unify quantum and relativity based on boundary conditions of extra dimensions. Woo! Did we get all of that? So it's basically, it's a way to unify everything on the incredibly small to the incredibly large. It is a bridge in a sense. And how they do that at its base is you get to Planck's constant, which is sort of where we find the mass, it's the mass that creates everything. And it's, you get even beyond that, I want to say. I can't remember, but either way, it is a theory in which strings are vibrating and it creates all of the different realities. And the thing that is wild for me about that, now this is a theory, you guys, and this is the thing, this was where the internet troll was getting a little bit wiggy, right? Because this person was like, it's not proven science. They were like, hey, can you provide a peer-reviewed study that proves string theory? And I was like, listen, if I could do that, I would have a Nobel Peace Prize. If I was able to have a paper, a peer-reviewed study that proves string theory, I would have a Nobel Peace Prize, because that would prove that all of those hugely hypothetical theories are correct. And that would be pretty amazing. I'm pretty sure that, Michio Kaku and Brian Greene would be my buddies, maybe. I don't know. I'm just saying, she was really hung up on the fact that it wasn't proven science, and you're not seeing this. The people that are just listening, I'm air quoting, proven science. And the thing is, within the science community, is there are so many different theories, and there are so many different relevant theories that are, that aren't proven. They aren't laws, if you will, like the law of thermodynamics and gravity and all the things. Those things are true no matter what, you know what I mean? Because it can be replicated in a lab over and over and you get the same result. That is a law. It becomes a law at that point, but it takes a long time for that to happen. Anyway, I'm sure some of you that have a grasp on some math and science really understand what I'm saying right now and are wanting me to get a move on. So at any rate, I brought up string theory because at its core, it talks about vibrating strings, which was my whole topic. It ties into what I was saying. And so but it was just something that she could not get past. Well, you shouldn't talk about things that aren't proven. And it's like the whole stance I'm on of spirituality is not a quote unquote proven thing. It is an experience that each individual has. It is the story of our own reality and how we cope and learn and discover where we can shift and change to become the best person, the best spiritual person, and to realize how we do create our own realities. It's not proven science. There's no real science in it whatsoever, but I'm one of those people that likes to find science in spirituality because I think that that's beautiful. And I feel like string theory is trying to do that unification process of the micro and macrocosm. And I think that's just absolutely delicious in every sense. So anyway, I I had a really hard time with that. Like initially, right, when I was reading it, I'm just like, well, I'm trying to be nice about this. But, then she started saying things like, people don't vibrate. And then I'm like, well, now we're definitely not on the scientific, because that is completely untrue. Because if you look at particles and every living being, everything is vibrating. And that is a truth. That is true. If you look at thermodynamics, anything that heats up, the particles in that are there are speeding up. And if you cool it down, they slow down. And if you look at the spectrum of light, if you move up into, the violet ray, you begin to see that the particles are moving very, very, very close. Those waves of light are very, very, very close together. And then when you move down from gamma rays, you move into like the smoother undulation of those particles waves, and it's X-rays and UV light and X-rays. And then you have radio waves, which is safer in that red spectrum. And the thing I was saying is one is a delightful experience and one will try to kill you. So you try not to experience gamma rays and totally, scramble all of your particles. Anyway, so your particles of your body, everything is vibrating and moving. At the microcosm, at the tiniest level, everything is moving, everything is vibrating, which is why when we say you want to increase your vibration, it allows you the opportunity to be able to connect completely with the highest vibration possible, which is source energy, which is this consciousness that is the cosmos, which is the fabric of everything. And that is part of that spiritual existence, that spiritual journey, is to increase our vibration. And one thing that I also kind of thought about is this idea of where it feels good to be around people that are relatively high vibration, except if you're not in a space to be able, that you're not able to change. And if that's the case, you might be listening to it. I don't know. Either way, sometimes, and when you notice that you are increasing your vibration, people that aren't of that same vibration are either attracted to that or they get triggered by that. And those are the people that you should feel comfortable with, letting go of in a way. Or for instance, if you make those huge changes in your life and you begin to feel that vibration rise, a lot of the people that were once there begin to fall away because it doesn't feel comfortable for them to be around you and this elevation of vibration, which is fine. You don't want to lower your vibration to keep those that are in your reality around, because it's their journey that they're on and it's your journey that you're on. And it's more important for you to fill yourself up with that love, light, and joy and gratitude so that your vibration raises and you are further connecting with this source energy, which is within you and above you, so that you can find your purpose and what it is that you're supposed to be doing through the act of raising your vibration. It's not about anybody else. It's not about this person, that person, or whatever to raise their vibration. It's not your responsibility. You are only responsible for your personal growth and how you vibrate. And one thing I thought was interesting is whenever somebody is experiencing anxiety, it's sort of like this scattered, very fast vibration, but it's sort of chaotic in a sense. And sometimes being around somebody who is more grounded or maybe has, I don't want to say lower vibration, but it's certainly not scattered. It's sort of like this vibration that isn't chaotic. And I feel like people who are anxious really enjoy being around that because it helps ground out some of that energy and make sense of their reality. So that's what I mean when I say people who are anxious like to be around sort of that lower vibration because it allows them to sort of like breathe and calm down and get out of that headspace of their chaotic energy. Anyway, so vibration is something that is a fact of our reality. And it is also something that we start to begin to notice in our spiritual bodies and in who we are as energetic beings and how we are all connected to one another. You experience the high vibration or the low vibration of all of the things that are around you. And I think that's the reason why I really enjoy looking and reading about string theory, is because it really does talk about how, you have these different ways of experiencing reality, and through your choices, you're experiencing a creation of your own reality, and that those different fields, those different strings hold the other choices that you could have made. And it's sort of interesting to think about that, because all of those possibilities are now infinite. And I think that that's absolutely fascinating. Just imagine if you would have done this instead of this, and how your life could have been different because of those choices. And in the idea around this string of reality, it could have been this way versus that way. One thing I thought was really interesting, because I like hearing other people's ideas around string theory, and this one, I stopped listening after a while, because then I realized that it was a guy that was talking about, like, trying to tie it into the Bible and everything. And then, I listened for a while, but he starts talking about, it just gets into some of the dogma, and then I'm like, I don't want to listen to it anymore. But the one thing that I thought was really interesting is he tied in the string theory and the vibrating strings, and he attributed them to vocal cords, and how the reality of everything was spoken into existence, which I thought that was extraordinarily beautiful. Of course, that relates to, he's talking about the God of the Bible and Christ, which I think that's amazing. That's such a beautiful way of describing the Big Bang Theory, if you will. Having it voiced into it was spoken into existence. And he also talked about, so if ever of you read C.S. Lewis, which the most popular one is The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, but he was talking about The Magician's Nephew, which was before it was the very first book in that series that C.S. Lewis wrote of the Chronicles of Narnia. And he talked about Aslan the lion, and he kind of made the connection between Christ and Aslan roared Narnia into existence. And it was that. And I thought that was really, really beautiful. I loved that. I don't know if I necessarily believe it, but I thought that was such a gorgeous connection in a sense. And of course, my mind drifts into some of the beautiful stories around, like, what if the whole universe is comprised of a giant piano or a stringed instrument, and each pluck of the string creates new realities because it creates music. Because math and music are two unspoken communications. It's a way that bridges communication without words. You can express emotions and you can understand things without words through math and through music. And that vibratory energy that is asserted from just music alone is a way to communicate every kind of emotion or even situation that people experience through music. So you can really get into some fun stories with just that one little detail, with vibrating strings that create our quantum realities. But just to get back to vibration, the most important thing to understand is that Our entire three-dimensional physical reality comprises of vibrating particles. Everything is in a stance of vibration, whether it is not moving at all, very fast, I should say, or they're moving incredibly fast. We're in a space of that spectrum somewhere. And in order for us to grow spiritually, we have to figure out, first of all, how we are vibrating in this space and time in our present moment. And what do we need to do to increase that vibration so that we can live in a space of our best self? How do we connect with this inner teacher that is within us and above us? And I had a conversation with my husband about this, and he got his degree in astrophysics, and so this is something that he has a really good grasp of, and it's great for me because I'm on the other side of the spectrum when it comes to this sort of stuff. But he is great about telling me all the things. And anyway, he talks about, the different dimensions of reality and the interaction, and how we aren't able to interact with 5D beings because we are 3D beings. And, just like us in three-dimensional reality can't interact with two-dimension or one-dimensional realities. There's a great book called Flatlands that kind of talk about the one-dimensional realities. And it's a really fascinating book. It's weird, but amazing. And it all kind of comes down to that vibration and how we are comprised in that vibration and how we can increase it and how we can begin to interact with these higher vibrational beings that are constantly trying to connect and guide us. I think that pretty much covers vibration, you guys. All I know is that I'm trying to increase my level of vibration so that I can be the best version of myself, and to really understand what it is that I'm supposed to be doing here and how I'm supposed to be in this plane of existence and how I create my own reality and what is that going to look like. And either way, I don't feel like there's any punishment for making a choice one way or the other. It's just there's always interaction in what we do. And apparently I need to eat some breakfast because my stomach is growling. So anyway, that covers it today, you guys. Vibration. I hope that helps you to understand your physical reality and why we vibe. What is vibe? What is vibration? And how do we interact with it, and how do we understand it in ourselves and in others? And your own vibration should influence your own choices. I think it does inherently, but as you grow and learn, you understand how your vibration can shift and how you need to increase it to make this life and this reality a better place for yourself first. Always for yourself first. And the rest of the world, as they experience your vibration, will either shift to it or move away from it, which makes sense. So anyway, I really love you guys. Thank you for being here with me for another episode. And the next episode won't be until the last Saturday of April. And I hope that you really have a great couple of weeks until we meet again. And I hope that you find how to raise your vibration in the meantime and continue on forward with that. All right. I love you guys. I hope you have a great couple of weeks, and I look forward to talking at you again really soon. Love and light to you all.